Yeah, so the first time I like kind of ever interacted with Joe was it was at a hotel. I was by myself. I think I was doing like an appearance or something for UFC. So I was downstairs and I was getting something to eat, and Joe came down with a group of guys. No, they were already there. They were at the restaurant and they were drinking. That was what went on. And I went to sit down to eat. As I'm waiting for my food, they're close enough to where I can hear them. So kind of like, hey, how's it going? And I just put out there like, hey, so who would be next? I beat Gilbert, beat Pettis, beat number three, beat number one, and maybe you can maybe I can fight for a title. Just kind of putting it out there, seeing what his response would be. And it was like maybe I shouldn't have said anything at all because it was like he definitely he definitely took full advantage of all of his friends being around. They were drinking a little bit and completely like fucking embarrassed me in front of it. Like, and in my own head, like I'm like on any if this guy wasn't, I didn't know who was who. I only fought 3 times in the UFC. I don't know how powerful this guy is. I know he makes the matchups. I know he's close with Dana. So I'm like, I really am in a rage, and the way, like, it's almost like they're all laughing because he's like the fucking man, and he's like, yeah, if you fight like that, you'll never get a title shot as long as I'm around. Like that kind of shit. Like, tough guy, wants to be bluntly honest just so he can tell his buddies, yeah, you hear what I fucking said to him? So, like, I'm super pissed. I eat my food. I go upstairs in a fucking rage, and I'm like, well, man, but I did the right thing. I just kind of took the high road. I'm like, yeah, just let me know when the next fight is, and I'll be good. And turns out I get a call anyway. And I don't know what the lightweight situation was at that time, who was coming up, who wasn't. But I knew there wasn't. Everybody has already fought for a belt and stuff like that. So I was next in line, the next story to be had. And Dana called me and I got the shot. So I said it must have went over Joe's head somehow and that was it. And I got the shot. I knock out Dos Anjos in the first round. And I remember he was cage side, but then when I went to the back with the belt, he was right back there. Probably one of the first dudes I seen when I went back there. And I was like pumped up, you know what I mean? Won UFC belt. I wasn't thinking badly or negatively, but I turn and I see him. And the first thing that came to my head was like, that's the motherfucker who was like, you'll never get a title shot. You'll never, like, just treated me like shit. And I'm like, if there was ever an opportunity where I could, like, just take his face and smush it, now is the point. And I just turned to him and I winked. And it was almost like he was fucking angry that I won. It was like he didn't want to acknowledge that I had the belt. He didn't want to acknowledge that I was even in the same hall as him. Just walk by, no good job, no congratulations, nothing. And I'm like, what a fucking angry little dude. So
I still find that so crazy. And at that time when he's telling you that, did you really feel like you never would get a title shot just based after what he was saying?
I was nervous. I came to the UFC to get a title shot, right? I came to the UFC to fight whoever had that belt so I could win a UFC title. I won all these titles outside, and so many people are like, you'll win them, but you'll never win the UFC. And if I won the UFC, they'll say you'll never win that. So I'm like, I'm going to go there. I'm going to win the title, and I'm going to prove it to myself and prove to everyone. And then when he says that, I'm like, fuck, I'm never, ever. Because that's the guy, right? He makes the matches. He's like the wizard. He says, who gets what. And so that was kind of disheartening. I went to my room pissed off and, like, a little disappointed, thinking, damn, I'm not going to get a title shot. And this little dude just bitched me up in front of all his friends.